Okay, you're good to go. Thanks for joining us.
All righty, guys. Happy Sunday to everybody. Congratulations to our staff and our players for going 1-0 on the week to remain undefeated in conference play. I thought they showed a lot of poise again down the stretch, just like they showed in week one. There are a lot of positives to take away from the game, and there's a lot of areas of growth that are still out there. As we try to win the Pac-12 South and get to a Pac-12 championship. Positives defensively. I like how we got to the quarterback. I like how we got him off his spot to be able to go from 1 sack in the first game to 4 sacks. This game was a positive. Great play by Drake Jackson, who had to leave the game to be able to get an IV, came back and really made 2 huge sacks in the second half, one in the third quarter, and then obviously on the last drive. Other thing I thought we did a better job of than in the first game was our perimeter play. I thought Greg Johnson, Max Williams played a lot in our dime package in this game when they were in 10 personnel, and Chase Williams, who came in and gave us some really good plays, did a terrific job on the perimeter, and did a lot better job than we did in the first game at that. I thought we turned it around at halftime, third down wise. They were 6 of 10 on third down, going into half, and then we come back in the second half and they're 0 for 5, which I thought was big in the game. When you looked at the first half, I felt offensively, I was like, man, we're not getting a ton of opportunities here. We only had 4 opportunities in the first half, and we scored on 3 of the 4. And then you go back and look at it, and you look at those third downs that were being made, and it's sustained drives of 10, 11, 13, and 9. They had 43 plays in the first half, which is a lot of plays and a lot of opportunities. We shored things up, got some 3 and outs in the second half that were critical when we hit a little bit of a lull offensively in the third quarter. And then the red zone. I thought the red zone play by the defense was a huge part of the game, huge part of the story. To be down there 3 times, Arizona was down there 3 times, got one touchdown out of the 3. Probably the difference in the game was how the defense did in the red zone, and the big turnover. I thought was a great job early by Talanoa that set us up for an early score, sudden change situation that you hope you always come away with a touchdown with, and we did. Offensively, I thought the biggest impact for us, and I'll keep on going back and saying it's critical for us, is the rushing yards. Last year we're sitting in the 120s, averaging 120 per game, and we really wanted to be able to hit a mark of 165, 170 in each and every game. We think that's the difference in us winning the championship. And to come out of that game again, 173 yards rushing, I think is critical for our success, especially when your quarterback's not having – every quarterback has an off day. I don't care what level you're at. Thank goodness our off days aren't as bad as maybe others. But to be able to rely on that rushing game I thought was key in the game. Marquise, I thought looked really a lot more confident than he did in the first game. I think he's gaining confidence by the day. Stephen Carr continues to perform, and Bavai did a nice job of, again, coming down the stretch with some big plays for us in the 2-minute drives. Another positive, I think, offensively, going from 4 turnovers in the first game to 0 in the second game is huge, and going from 3 sacks to 0 sacks from first game to second was a big part. Consistency of our 2-minute drives, I think, is a huge positive. I love our situational mastery and those and the way our kids perform and the way they handle that situation. Back-to-back weeks really have been in 4 times at end of half now, at end of games where we had must-makes that we had to have. And you look up and Keaton's, last week he was 8 of 12 for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this week, 13 of 15 for 144 yards and a touchdown. So you hope that you got a quarterback that performs his best when the pressure's on. And thank goodness that we do. The areas of growth that I think that we've got to really address as we continue down this path, hopefully to a Pac-12 South championship, is, I look at the tape and I see us in the red zone 8 times and walk away with 34 points. You get down there 8 times, it should be a 50-point game. So the red zone execution is a continued area of growth. I thought our third down performance, we can be better. I think we're an elite passing team, and I think our third down efficiency, we can continue to grow in. And then penalties. It was one of those games where both sides, where it was a closely called game. Arizona had 80 yards. We had 110. The one thing that I do see the difference that I'm going to address the team tomorrow with is it's the non-ego penalties right now. The penalties that are the unsportsmanlike conduct or doing something selfishly, making a poor decision. There's some fundamental things that we can do better. There's some calls that I didn't agree with. That's my opinion, but it was a closely called game both ways, and we hope that the penalties will come down in the next game. For us, it's 2-0, and now we go back to the drawing board, and we go back to get a chance to play a good Utah team and a well-coached Kyle Whittingham team. From an injury standpoint, let me say this. I do want to tell you 2 guys I thought played extremely well, and it had just happened to be 2 captains. Marlon Tuipulotu is playing out of his mind right now, and really playing a captain's performance and playing as good as anybody on our team. And then I thought our other captain, Amara St. Brown, is playing at an extremely high level. Second 100-yard game in a row, and made 4 catches on the last drive that really allowed us to take the lead for good. So I'm proud of those 2 captains and their performance. From an injury standpoint, obviously I told you Brandon Peely would probably not play in this game. He did not. Brett Nealon was not not medically cleared to be able to perform in the game, so we did not dress him out. Mo Hassan, our third-string quarterback, late in the week developed compartment syndrome. Had to have that compartment syndrome surgery, very similar to what Michael Pittman had. It's a 3 to 4 week recovery. Caleb Tremblay traveled with us, was having stingers at the end of the week, and was not medically cleared, so we did not dress him out. EA left the game for a lower leg contusion as well as concussion protocol. Talanoa left the game briefly for thigh bruise, and then came back later in the game. And Jude Wolf re-aggravated a little bit his ankle that he had a week prior. He came out, and Eric Cromanhope kind of took over and did a really nice job for us. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you got.
Okay, we'll start with Ryan Young.
Clay, what's the latest you've heard about the Utah game and just assurances that it's still on track?
Hey, in today's time, right, I don't know if there's any assurances anywhere. I think we're just so focused on us and what we have to do to prepare for a game, both from a protocol, health and safety, making sure our guys are good, preparing a game plan that you hope that you get that opportunity. It does look like it's trending in the right direction from what I've heard. So we've got our fingers crossed. I thought it was really neat by our conference the way the UCLA Cal game worked out today. I thought that was being really proactive by our conference to try to get in games. But I'm hoping we get the opportunity to have a chance to compete with Utah, and it looks like it's headed in that direction. Let's say our prayers, and hopefully both teams will stay safe and stay trending towards the same direction.
And then with the short yardage struggles, is there any thoughts of going under center on the 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 plays? I know you don't have it in the package now, but would you work on that possibly?
It's something that's right now just not us, Ryan. I think it's a good question for Graham, but right now it's something that, to be honest with you, I thought we had a good plan going in. We did. It's sad that the 4th and 1 we had a missed assignment on that. Had the exact look. We had actually hit that play. If you remember, to Marquise that split, got us down to the 1 yard line, came back, got the exact same look. exact same thing was getting ready to happen again, and we had a missed assignment. I don't think it was from a lack of scheme, or anything like that, but we did have a missed assignment, poor execution on the other 4th and 1.
Adam Grossbard.
Clay, given what we saw with UCLA and Cal this week, how much do you keep that possibility in mind, given Utah's situation and given that the Arizona State Colorado game's already been canceled?
Yeah, Adam, when they asked me about the 9 a.m. game in the first game, I said, guys, in this situation, we just want to play games, anytime, any place, anywhere, anybody. And we would love to have the opportunity to play the game we love, and that's the approach we'll take. If something doesn't work out and it's postponed or canceled, and there's another opportunity, our kids just want to play, and it doesn't matter how much time it is before the game, as long as the pads could get there and we could get a plane to go someplace. I think we would go anywhere to have the opportunity to play. I love the mentality of our kids right now. They just want to get to the next game and have the opportunity to play the next one.
Do you keep that possibility in mind at all? Like have a couple of people look at some Colorado film or anything like that?
Well, we do play Colorado later this season, so I don't know if that's going to end up happening. It kind of reminds you of what happened with, it was Washington and Arizona. I think they play later in the season. So I don't know if that situation would necessarily work out in this case, because you're basically would hurt yourself for later in the season. But we'll see how things go. I really liked, like I said, I liked the proactiveness that Larry and the conference Larry and Merton took to say, okay, hey, this one didn't work out. We have a situation here that we can take advantage of. And then credit to I reached out to Chip and to J-Dub and just saluted both of them, just for saying, hey, let's make the most of this opportunity and taking that opportunity. It was good for both their teams. I was happy for both their teams, for their kids, especially Cal, to get the chance to play. They've been under a lot of duress up north, and to have that chance, man, proud for their kids, proud for their staffs that they got that opportunity.
Ryan Kirchie.
Hey, Clay, you guys started off a bit slow on the ground, but then it seemed like you found your rhythm, especially heading into the second half. And I know Vavai said initially there were some miscommunications maybe in the run game. What was the biggest difference from early on the run game to later when it seemed that you guys found your rhythm?
Yeah, one of the things I admire about our offensive coaching staff is their ability to adjust. And you remember, Ryan, we were kind of flying in blind here as far as what we were going to see. The last time that Coach Rhodes had called a game, it was in 2017, and had kind of a feeling, of the structure, but what exactly was going to be, what it was going to look like. You needed to come in there, do what you do, and then make adjustments. And I thought our coaches made really good adjustments. We actually changed one of our run schemes because of how they were playing. They were playing the scheme, and it created, if you remember, 2 huge runs. That the scheme and the adjustment created a huge run by Marquise down the left boundary, and then by Steven on the right boundary. And so I thought it was a good adjustment by Drev and Graham in game based on what we were seeing. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get unscouted looks. This was one of those cases. We knew that, and we had told our kids there may be adjustments in game. We told our staff, the last thing I told them in our coaches meeting on Saturday morning was, guys, don't panic. As soon as the series is over, come off. Let's get the information. Let's adjust if need be. Let's develop the plan and then communicate the plan to the kids. And that's what happened. I thought they did a great job of adjusting to it too. Again, Ryan, I think it's so important. I go back and I look at last year, and I thought there was really 3 teams that threw the ball extremely well: LSU, Alabama, and us. And you look at LSU. I think they won the national championship with 168 yards rushing per game, and I think Alabama was like at 166. And we said we needed to go from 120 to be in that 170 plus mark and you look at us yesterday, 173. I think the first game was 178, 179. That's the key for us, is to be able to stay consistent and be able to rush the ball and take some pressure off the quarterback and keep that threat always there.
And I know Keaton mentioned yesterday that there might be some mechanical sort of issues with the way he was throwing yesterday. Looking back on the film, did you notice that at all, or?
No, I go back, like I said, Ryan, yesterday, just I thought the ball was a little bit slick for him, which allowed some mechanics. I don't know if you've ever had that ball that's been slick to you. It's not a very confident thing when it's you're afraid it's going to come out of your hand the wrong way, and it will change you from time to time. It was a dry, windy day, and it created some issues for us, and I'll make sure that we've got exactly what he needs to be ready. But, he's such a consistent kid and such a pure motion that I don't see it being an issue moving forward. And if that's our worst day, to go 70% and throw for another 300 plus yards without an interception and to do what he did down the stretch, a lot of people would like that. So if that's our off day, God bless us. We'll be very happy down the stretch.
We'll go to Antonio.
Clay, after Chris Steele's got some penalties these first 2 weeks, what do you emphasize to him?
I always love the saying, shooters shoot, and he's very confident in his coverage skills. Some of the calls I've agreed with, and some I haven't. But the thing I love about Chris is he is ultra aggressive, and he's not one of those guys that lets you be comfortable as a receiver. We see it all the time. He goes against Amon-Ra every day. And you're talking about iron sharpens iron, and a good man sharpens a good man. Those two go at it every day. And, for him, I'm not going to take that aggressiveness away from him. I can promise you that. I know Dante and him work consistently on the proper execution. I've been thoroughly impressed. I think Chris has advanced, both him and OG. As well, the rest of our corners have become better in their fundamentals and technique. I don't know how many times I really don't think they even went at OG yesterday, other than a couple rub plays that they tried to get him off of them. But as far as his aggressiveness, we play a lot of press man. We're not going to let you be comfortable, and it may get a call or two, depending on the referee. But I don't want to take that aggressiveness away from him. And if he's being handsy, Dante will get it fixed. I got the ultimate faith in that.
We'll go to shotgun.
Hey, Clay, what's your biggest concern with Keaton right now?
Biggest concern with Keaton? Probably just staying consistent and protecting the football, and he's doing a wonderful job. In 2 games, he's had 1 interception. I don't see him forcing many throws into double coverage. I think he's taking the one-on-one opportunities. I think he's right at 71% completion ratio. We're doing a nice job of there've been some rushing touchdowns. I think he's 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio right now. But I just hope the consistency of play continues, of just letting the game come to him and not forcing things. And I thought that was evident in the first game, checking the ball down, and then he comes into this game, which is I know he always will say, "Hey, I want to play better," and he really found his rhythm late, but he didn't force things, and that's what good quarterbacks do. That's where, if you remember Shotgun this time last year, he was a younger kid with less experience and forced the issue and forced some turnovers. Right now, he's protecting the ball pretty dang well through the first 2 games.
And then real quick, just do you have some long-term injury updates on Elijah Winston and Juliano Falanico? Those guys potentially going to be back this year?
I don't know about Elijah, Shotgun, to be honest with you. That was a pretty severe ankle injury. He is doing better. I don't see it probably happening on this short abbreviated season, but we're hoping for his progression each and every week. And then with who was the other gentleman you asked about? Giuliano. Yeah, Giuliano is, he's getting ready to get out of the water treadmill, get on ground a little bit. So there is advancement there. I think he has a shot to be back late season, but I think he's still a couple weeks away, to be honest, Shotgun. But he'll be back on land this week, I believe.
Okay, we have time for 2 quick questions, one from Carlo and then Eric. Start with Carlo.
Hey, Coach. Grant Cannell had nearly, I think, 55 yards in the first half, and he ended the game with 40. What did you guys do to adjust to get to him in that second half and not allow him to escape the pocket?
I thought that I thought our rush lanes, and I thought the kids that were in there, especially in some of the 2-minute drives, if you looked at Tio's got a package where he put some really good athletes out there. We had one package that where it's Drake on one side, Hunter on the other, and Nick in the middle. And that's kind of a 2-minute package where you've got some kids that have great change of direction. That can chase, and if you look at it, I think in the last 2 drives, I think Hunter made a nice play coming back and almost caused an interception. Chris had the chance maybe to get an interception that he hits. He chases him down and gets a hit where that caused, and then you saw Drake on the last drive really chase him down again. So I think a little bit of personnel adjustment in those 2 situations helped. It's a nice package that Tio has to be able to do that. But I thought our rush lanes got a lot better in the second. Tim, anything else?
Yeah, Eric McKinney. Sorry, I froze there. Eric?
Coach, like you said, 2 unscouted defensive looks so far. What was kind of consistency that you saw from those 2 teams that maybe was kind of geared for you guys to get ready?
Anytime you go in with unscouted looks, again, like I said, it's about adapting within the game, and to be able to come out of those 2 games averaging 31 points and I think it's 527 yards we're averaging right now offensively. That helps. I think we had a little bit better advantage in the Arizona State game defensively because we kind of knew that was going to be more Boise oriented. And we kind of knew what Arizona was going to be in this game. I don't see Kyle getting too far away from what they were doing last year. Has both coordinators back, and obviously we don't have 2 games to watch like they've got 2 games on us and tendencies and things like that. But at least schematically, you've got a little bit of better feel because the coordinators aren't changed and they've been there previously. Then that it looks like they'll have some different personnel, especially defensively on the field, and a couple of new skill players offensively. But personnel matchups is the thing that you don't see, I guess, because of that, is how your kid may match up on theirs because you just don't have enough tape on them to be able to evaluate. But schematically, you feel a lot better going into this game because at least you have tape you can watch from last year that will be at least consistent.
Okay, Clay, thanks for joining us. Reminder to the media, our media schedule this week will be like last week's. We'll be back with Coach Helton Tuesday morning at 7:45, followed after 15 minutes with Coach Harrell and a couple players. Wednesday will be 8 a.m. with Coach Orlando, and Thursday Coach Helton will join us again at 8 a.m. So until then, have a great few days, and thanks again for being here.
Thank you, guys. Take care.